after being through 2 seasons of investigating high strangeness with the Skinwalker team and the Beyond Skinwalker effort, I am more convinced than ever that there is something happening. I am not any more convinced that it is alien in nature, but I am more and more confident that it does defy science as we understand science today, right? Energy signatures, transient physical evidence, like somehow you can see gaps in GPS data, gaps in geospatial data, gaps in energy returns. Like, it's the strangest thing, man. And nobody can explain it. Experts in their field can't explain it. Technical experts with the equipment can't explain it. Physicists, astrophysicists, like scientists can't explain it, but it happens and it's consistent, not everywhere, but in certain places. So why the hell is it that when I'm in a strange ranch in southern Colorado, I see the same weird shit that I see in the mountains of Nevada, but I don't see either of, like, those two things are consistent. But then when I go to someplace in Tennessee, we don't see shit. How does that happen? How is it, how is it that I can go one city over, I can go one national park or one state park over to where the terrain is exactly the same, granite rock to granite rock, but energy signatures are different, geospatial data is different, magnetic anomalies are different. How does that happen, right? And why does that happen? I don't think that it's alien. The proof that I'm seeing is not that it's alien, but the proof that I'm seeing is sure as hell that it is fucking weird, it's fascinating, and it shows the untapped advantages that a weapon system could get if it could figure out this science. And I gave you a lot right there. I don't know if it all made sense, because in my head, I'm reliving the investigation. And season 2 goes through a lot of that. And anybody who watches season 2 on History Channel or streams it Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, you're going to see exactly what I'm saying. There's so much strange shit that happens in our country that we don't even understand, that defies the laws of science as we understand them, the laws of physics as we understand them. And it stumps not just me as a CIA officer, but a whole range of experts that I've talked to.
Gun to your head, would you say it's super advanced, like DARPA technology?
I don't know if I would give DARPA the credit, but I would say that the 60-40 of what we're seeing is is either advanced technology or, this was really crazy, super old technology that we found a way to do better. Balloons, sea drones, unpowered passive devices, right? That kind of stuff.
What do you make of all the patterns, though, of people who have, around the world, who have claimed to have witnessed something? And again, you hear a lot of people now, they'll come up, they'll say, I'm an experiencer. And maybe somebody is, but the vast percentage of people is probably something different. But when you look at, say, the patterns that James Fox, who's been on the show, has created with the history of it since the 1940s, be it from China, Russia, United States, Australia, Africa, South America, all over the map, where they report the similar things. Small creatures, similar beady eyes, similar colors, craft described in often the same ways, a form of telepathy that happens for people that have encounters of the third kind. That's the right term, right, Alessi?
The fourth kind.
It's fourth kind, right? Where it's like everything all together. I guess there's a possibility. Well, there's certainly a possibility some people are lying. But when you see all these different people from so many different places who, before the internet, when these things are happening, had no ability to communicate with each other, what do you make of that?
So there's something very real there. There's 2 things that I've been able to actually see for myself and measure for myself. First, experiencers are having real experiences. From their point of view, with their 5 sensory organs, right? Their eyes, their nose, their ears, etc., they're having a very real experience. But all a sensory organ is a series of electrical patterns to the brain. So just like we can simulate, if you touch freezing cold water on a hot day, the first sensation you actually have when you stick your finger into the cold water is a burning sensation, because that's how the body interprets the sensation, right? Same thing happens if it's a freezing cold day and a lukewarm pool of water. As soon as you touch it, it feels super hot. That's just an electrical impulse. So it's not that what you see is really what you see or what you hear is really what you hear. It's that your brain is interpreting electrical signals and translates those electrical signals into sensory perception. So what's wild to me is a lot of the experiencers that I've spoken to have had very real experiences, but that doesn't necessarily mean that what they experienced actually happened to them the way that they experienced it. They may have been touching cold water on a hot day, and what they experienced was burning. So that's what's so fascinating to me, because one of the things that we have absolutely been able to measure is that in areas where highly strange phenomena have happened, energy readings are all over the map. Electrical energy readings, magnetic energy readings, gravitational energy readings, all over the place. So we really could, like, for all intents and purposes, you could stand in one place and you don't smell anything and it feels like a 70-degree day. And then you stand 6 feet in a different place and now all of a sudden you smell oranges and it feels like a 90-degree day. Right? Like, that's the impact of energy on your body and on your brain and how your brain interprets events. So when you think about true experiencers, if they're just temporarily co-located in an area where either a extraterrestrial phenomenon happened or a very terrestrial phenomenon happened with high energy readings, the experience could be the same. See what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand what you're saying. I think that there's still a little bit of an open-ended argument as to the exact how many data points across how many years and how many places, like just statistically from like an anomaly perspective.
For sure.
How much that lines up. And it makes you think, because, you know, people's heads go to, are these different governments trying to put out misinformation, stuff like that? And that's a fair question to ask. But then you look at the people who are coming out and some of them smell government-y and other people don't, you know?
It can be both. That's what I'm saying. It can absolutely be both. It's not an either-or argument, right? It can be terrestrial and natural, and it can be government-related. Because what has the government always done? When it was like the 1920s, the government found where nature created forests, and then it started cutting down trees. It went to the place where nature created gold reserves and gold ore, and then it started mining operations. So why would we not think that if the government found a vortex of energy that could have benefit to aeronautical aviation technology or weapons technology or free energy, right? Whatever, fusion, fission, whatever.
Yep.
If they were to find one of those locations, wouldn't they go there? Wouldn't they also try to cover it up? Wouldn't it also be a place that has its own measurable differences against every place else? And wouldn't people in the surrounding area also have experiences that were related to the incredible amount of energy or the unique geology of that location? Okay. So I am more and more convinced that there's a terrestrial explanation for what most experiencers see. But here's the thing that's so interesting, especially if there's a terrestrial explanation for it, intelligent life from another planet would most likely identify those anomalies here when they did a scan of our planet. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword.
Yes, I agree.